morning everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, and this is my first video. And what is all about? It's about my gear. As you know, I have been playing for a while Hammond style and Deep Purple songs, and I also been playing some of the songs that are not just Deep Purple but Procol Harum, Spencer Davis Group, The Doors. Mostly what I'm playing is based on the Hammond organ sound, and we all know this classic sound from the 50, from the 60, and we're not talking about now the history of the Hammond, but I'm here to explain to you how do I get the Black Knight Deep Purple style sound, or generally speaking, how do I get that Deep Purple sound using a Hammond? Yes, okay, and you don't necessarily need to use this kind of Hammond, this specific model. This is a Hammond XK3c. Hammond made several models over the years and has improved, like everyone else. Krummer Mojo from Krummer, it's an Italian company. Also some people call it the Viscount, some other people say the Viscount, but whatever, I think it's Viscount. And they all clone wheel, and they try to replicate as close as possible that real Hammond sound, that classic sound, and some people wants to get as close as possible. Now, I don't think when you play rock in general you have to be so finicky and so picky about how close do I get to that sound. Sometimes I used to be like this, and I bought so much gear and spent money on pedals. How do I get that grit sound? Do I need this type of amplifier? Do I need the Leslie? This is my Leslie over there. How do I get the best sound? But why would you really need that to exactly copy that sound as it was recorded? I think, in my modest opinion, we should all try to relax a bit, as long as the Hammond sound is there, that is decent enough, and you know how to play. That's the most important thing. And I'm a hobby organist player, and I used to play, my background is piano, and I love playing piano, but I switched into Hammond in organ sound about 5 years ago. I always had this passion, but I never actually bought a Hammond and played. When I say Hammond, I don't mean the brand itself. I mean actually any kind of clone wheel that replicate the Hammond sound. It could be a Nord, it could be a Krummer, it could be a Viscount, it could be the Hammond, it could be anything else. I think even Roland does some organ and etc. Now, it is important that you get close enough, yes, because you want to sound that you are playing a Hammond sound, the classic sound that you want to get, but it doesn't have to be exactly the same. As I think we should all actually try to experiment with sound, and this is what I usually do. Now, generally speaking, let's focus on the Deep Purple. Okay, Deep Purple, Jon Lord had a specific sound. He was trying to achieve. He is very well known to play very loud, and he was sending his Hammond signal through a preamp into a guitar amp, and he also had the Leslie connected, and it was sometimes it was bypassing the Leslie to just get that dry signal, and this is what we're gonna focus today: the dry signal, but also the kind of Leslie cabinet. I'm not talking about when the Leslie is necessarily in a fast mode, like spinning or in the slow motion, you know. But I'm talking about even on a stationary position. When you have it connected, you get the classic Hammond sound, which is the Hammond plus the Leslie cabinet. It's the cabinet and the speaker itself that produce that sound. Now it depends what kind of song you're playing. You might need the Leslie, you might need to bypass the Leslie and get more a dry signal. Now regarding the Deep Purple, this is often what Jon Lord was doing. He was using a Marshall JCM 800, I believe. I think he also used some plexi. I think the JCM 800 was already a plexi amplifier, a guitar amp, and he was getting that natural distortion, because when you play loud, the amp gets distorted. Nowadays you can get this in a different ways. Now, talking about my gear, I do a bit the same thing that Jon Lord was doing, and people might not agree, but if you look into history, you will find out also on the link below on the video. I will post a video about Jon Lord, and it's on YouTube, so it's actually easy and accessible to everyone, and you can see Jon Lord talking and mentioning the Marshall amp, the JCM 800 I was talking about. What he was doing, he was separating the signal. He was getting a dry signal and the Leslie signal. How I'm doing this with my XK3c. I don't think you can exactly replicate this with all the clone Hammond organ clone wheel, because you need an 11-pin output, which is on the back of the Hammond XK3c. You have the same on the XK5. You have the same 11-pin output on the SKX Pro, on the SK Pro line, which is the 61 keys and the 73 keys. But you also get the same 11-pin, I think, on some of the Krummer Mojo. Now, it depends which Leslie model. There is alternative ways to connect your output jack into the Leslie. But I think the 11-pin cable is the best, because you can actually control everything. You can control with the half moon. I don't know if you can see my half moon here. This little thing, it's a lever that you can turn on the right for fast and slow on the left. And you can get, so you if you connect the 11-pin cable straight to the back of your Leslie, you can control the fast, stationary, stop and slow directly with your half moon, or you can actually connect a pedal. Okay, you can connect it to the Hammond, and you can control with the pedal the Leslie as well. Okay, stop and fast and slow. I use the half moon. I'm used to do it this way, and so obviously we're talking about my gear, how I'm achieving the sound that you hear on my YouTube videos. And so let's recap. You can actually use any kind of Hammond, but if you want to achieve what I'm doing, you need an 11-pin output. The Viscount has one. Some Krummer Mojo also has it. I think the old Krummer Mojo had the 11-pin output. The Hammond, almost all series of Hammond, the old ones and the new ones, have an 11-pin output, and you connect it directly on the Leslie on the back. There is 11-pin in, and you get the sound, and you can control it, fully controlled by your half moon or the pedal. Then you need some kind of distortion. Okay, I use the onboard distortion on the XK3c because it's equipped with a tube valve, a real tube valve inside this beast. and you get the warm sound. So the grit they get out of the Hammond, it does sound dry because it's actually connected not to the Leslie obviously, but to the Roland amp, which is a keyboard amplifier. So I do have the output jack. You can send your L mono or both the L mono and the right into your Roland amp, which is a mono amp, but you can actually connect left and right, and it's not really a true stereo, but you can still connect both. You get a bit more full sound if you connect both, but you cannot just connect the L mono into a Roland amp, into any other amp, keyboard amp, and you get this dry signal, and you can turn your tube overdrive or your overdrive knob that you have on your keyboard. Doesn't matter if that is an Hammond XK3c, if it's an XK5, if it's a Krummer Mojo. This is the distortion that you can use to get. And to be honest with you, I almost turned that knob fully to all the way down to the right to get almost fully saturated, really distorted sound. Now you have to be careful. If that gets too distorted, it becomes fizzy. Maybe you don't want to get to that, so you have to calibrate that. Maybe if it's too much, you just turn the knob a little bit down to avoid that sounds to be too fizzy, a bit fake, a bit too much overdrive. Might not sound good, might sound even muddy. That's it. So the gear is very simple, and the video you see on YouTube are recorded using Rode NT1 mic. I don't use the SM57 from Shure because that is more suitable if you want to record your sound, your performance when you're playing into your DAW, and then you want to mix your music into the DAW, adding some reverb, some touch here and there. But I do not use any DAW. I do it the old-fashioned way. A mic, and I use a mic that can actually capture the room sound and not just the sound coming out from the amplifier. The SM57 from Shure is a very good mic, but it doesn't achieve what you want to get from a live performance because it's not going to capture the ambient of the room, the a bit of kind of natural echo and reverb that you can get. This is a small room here. It's my studio recording, and I play also live sometime, but mostly I do my videos and here, and I play for my enjoyment, for you to enjoy. And that's it. I place the mic here on the floor at a distance about half meter. Okay. Maybe sometimes it depends how loud you play. You want to place it a bit backwards, more distance from your amplification, or sometimes a bit closer. Depends of the volume you adjust. This is something you can experience after a few try, and you listen to your recording. Is it good? Is not good? And then you can just. But this is how I do it. It's very simple. So I use the onboard, no pedal. But if you want to use a pedal, and people sometimes, the onboard distortion is not so good. They are really thinking about that. Maybe it's true. You may contradict my statement. But what I'm thinking is that it depends on the gear you're using. Perhaps some people can be right that the pedal a distortion pedal can achieve a better distortion sound. But here we are talking about Hammond. So what kind of pedal? You can't really use any guitar pedal unless you want to experiment a new sound. Then you can try. But then if you want to stay close, I would suggest the Lounsberry pedal, the organ grinder, which is a mono. The OGS1 version is a mono, so you connect your L mono into the pedal in, and then the out of your pedal into your amplifier. Okay, or you can get the Lounsberry pedal, the OGS2, or called also a gear grinder, which is a stereo version. They made that. The Mr. Lounsberry, his name is Greg, and is a great guy, and I bought his pedal, which is great, but with my gear I didn't really need that, because my tube, the valve inside this beast, it's already enough to get a very good distortion, and when it's connected to a good keyboard amp, you get really good distortion sound. I like it, I love it, and I wouldn't change with any pedals. But maybe if you are using a Krummer Mojo or a Nord or other clone wheel where the feature, the onboard feature, might not sound that great, then if you really want to add the pedal, then you can use that one, the Lounsberry pedal. And the stereo version, you can connect it to a stereo amp and get a really nice grit. And this is how I do it. So to recap, it's very simple. I use my Leslie 2101 MK1. This is an old model. It's very portable. It has a real spinning horn. And the only downside about this portable Leslie is that the bass rotary speaker it's not really rotating. It's emulated sound, so it's not like the Leslie 3300, which is much more expensive than this one, and or the original vintage 147, the 122, or the 760. You know, they really had a bass rotary speaker that was spinning at the same time as the horn. Okay. Where you get basically with a horn the high pitch of the Hammond sound. You can also adjust. There are some settings very cool about. You can adjust the RPM, how fast it's going to accelerate to get up to speed when you put it on fast. How many seconds does it get? You can adjust the seconds. Sometimes you want to tweak this to get to that speed quickly. It depends what kind of music you're playing, or some other times you want to reduce this. So, and the same thing when you switch from fast to slow or from fast to stop, how many seconds do I need to wait for the spinning to actually go into a stop position, to stationary? You can calibrate that, and this is adjustable on the back, and you know, if you downloaded the Leslie 2101 manual, it explains all that, and it's very easy. So my gear is very simple. Leslie 2101. I really suggest that to anyone that wants to play home. You can also use this on small venues. It's quite loud. I think this is, if I'm not wrong, 200 watts. Then I have the Roland KC-350. I bought it many years ago. Very happy with it. I wouldn't change my keyboard amp with anything else. Roland, it's really good, but this is my opinion. Of course, you can use other amplifier. And I do get the Leslie sound here, and both connect at the same time. I do get the dry signal here, where I get the bottom end, because the Roland has heavy bottom, you know, the bass, and the dry signal comes out mostly from there. You can hear that grit, that distortion coming out from there, and if I need to use the Leslie also on a fast speed or slow, I can control it directly from my half moon, and besides that, some of the Deep Purple songs do not use any Leslie at all. But still, I connect this and I leave it on a stationary position because the sound that you get out of the unit is the Hammond sound. That's where completes the keyboard, and just with the keyboard probably you don't get the Hammond sound. This is my opinion, because the way how the Leslie cabinet is built is what actually produces that sound. Okay, and you get the grit and the distortion from a Roland amp or any other amp, a dry signaler. And this is how Jon Lord was doing. He had two separate sounds, okay, coming out from this at the same time, and so the separate sound was basically the guitar amp together with the Leslie. So he had this custom configuration. I think at that time they did it. He asked to get this, and that was at the time the only way. I will make another video talking about specific Jon Lord gear, and you will see that what I'm doing here is pretty much the simplified modern way to achieve that kind of similar sound. Okay, and I believe that's all for today, and I wish you a great day ahead, and I'll see you to the next video. And please, if you like this video or you have any comments, just leave a comment and I will try to answer. We can have discussions about gear and anything. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.